This season of Love is Blind was the worst season known to man, the worst season on record. This catastrophic season, I totally agree with Edmund's sentiment, with the painful yelp that he let out. I have no words. Notice I didn't even cover the finale because I said this is hogwash. So let's discuss the sham of a reunion. That boring ass, garbage ass reunion. Firstly, I don't where do I freaking begin? Okay. We had them all come out. Everybody trunched out. I don't know what was Madison's problem. Either she was drunk or she can't walk in heels. She was struggling to get down the stairs. I thought she was going to bust her ass. Then they had some black country singer. That song was catchy though. It was hella catchy. But it was just random. They just threw it all together. They just threw Love is Blind spaghetti up against the wall and whatever stuck, stuck. Okay. First, let's who did they start with? It was Sparkle Bling Bling Megan and Jordan, right? So we all know she said no at the altar. I'm not no, they didn't even get to the altar. I'm not surprised. You know what Sparkle Megan's whole storyline reminds me of? All right. There is this thing online where they're telling women to date down, right? That's being told to a lot of women now. You need to date down, lower your standards. And you know what? I'm on Megan's side with this. Megan tried to date down. Megan stated what she wanted. Megan is a high roller. She is used to being a kept woman. She's used to the finer things in life. Megan lives a life of leisure. Megan decided to step down, right? To lower her standards just a bit to see how life would be like. This experience was good for her because I think she caught a glimpse. Megan caught a glimpse of life with a man who does not make as much money as she does. She caught a glimpse of life with a struggling single father, right? She caught a glimpse of that life of dating down, of being a layman, a layperson, right? Peons like us, right? The poor folk. She got a taste of that and she said, absolutely not. I can't do it. Megan was trying to force it. She was trying to force it. I think she was like, no, you know what? I can't lower my standards. And good for her. She said, I can't lower my standards. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I told you guys that I don't date. I have since my divorce, I dated for maybe a few months and I was just not with the shits. This whole dating world is a sham and a scam. I could not. And so I stopped dating for about 3 years. This year, I said, let me try to dip my toe back in. And you know what? I said, let me date down. Y'all, I will never, I'm sorry. It's okay. I've realized that it's okay to have standards. I cannot date someone who educationally is not on par with me, who financially is not on par with me. I mean, the dating experience I had with someone, he had a tad bit of less education. Our occupations did not match. And I sensed that he was insecure about that. Our salaries, when he realized how much I don't make a ton, but compared to him, I make decent money. Like he's not hitting that. Above 100K, he's not hitting that. You can tell he was a little and when I saw how this dude was living, I said, I'm good. I'm good in the neighborhood. When I tell you, and I'm sorry, I'm veering off. When I tell you this man that I briefly spoke to was buying shoes for like $500-600 sneakers and had a sneaker collection. Then when I started to learn more about him, never owned any property. He never owned any property. I think he barely has a bachelor's, or he didn't fully get his bachelor's. He worked the job he took, what I thought he had, he does not, because I'm a sleuth. I went and did a background check. Then when I saw where he lived, I said, you cannot live in this shoebox and you're buying shoes that are at $700. Absolutely not. I said, you know what? I'm not doing it. I had to bow out gracefully. I could not do it. He's very gaudy. What he think, like, he was into like big screen TVs. That's like a status symbol. I could care less about a big screen TV. What's that 401k looking like, right? What's my kids' college fund looking like? What, like, I need an emergency fund. What's the next property I'm gonna buy? That's what I'm at. Homeboy wasn't on that. So, anyways, I say all that to say, Megan, she dipped her toe and tried to lower her standards. She couldn't do it. You know what she did? She actually overcorrected. Megan surprised the audience. Well, we saw this on the news last week. She actually went and had a baby. These girls move fast because they stopped taping in April of last year. She met her baby daddy, Paul, in July of last year. They got pregnant in October of last year, 3 months into dating, about. And you already have a baby. Y'all move fast. I couldn't imagine having a baby is a life altering decision. But anyhow, word on the street is Paul, Megan's baby daddy, is a billionaire. He's worth 4 billion. I read that somewhere. She overcorrected. Jordan's station in life scared the entire crap out of Madison. Madison said, nope, I want no parts of this. So they talked about that. Megan hit it really well. She did not tell. I think, who knew? Casey knew. Only Casey knew. Goes to show you that a lot of these girls are not as close as they purport themselves to be. Because even Allie was like, she was my closest friend in the pods. Well, she don't consider y'all close because she hit it so well. Barely anyone knew. I think only Jordan knew, and she said Casey knew. Right? No phones. The baby shower was very, like, very, very secure. No phones allowed, nothing. Damn, Megan. So yeah, Megan has her baby and she's happy. Hopefully it stays that way. But if not, she busts out that baby for him. So, and she secured her baby's future with a billionaire baby daddy. She said nope. I don't blame her. Can you blame her? So Jordan, I think he's dating casually, but he did mention that he regretted introducing his kid to Megan, which, listen, she should not have. He should not have introduced his son that early. I have never introduced, and I haven't dated that much either, so there's no reason for me to have ever introduced my kids to anyone I was talking to. She did not introduce, sorry, Jordan introduced Megan prematurely to her son, and a lot of people do that. I will never do that. I don't even if I get married, it's going to be a while until I freaking introduce my children to any man that comes into my life. I can't see myself doing it. A lot of people do that, and you're doing a disservice to the child. That should not be done at all.
I have a little bit of a surprise. I am a mom now.
Oh my goodness!
What?
Okay, so after Jordan and Bling Bling Megan's segment, okay, let me just get to it. I have no words. So then they bring out Katie, which I don't even remember Kate, whatever her name is, and motherfucking Patrick. So this was the weirdest segment ever. The whole segment they were arguing about the ring. which Jordan said, not Jordan, Patrick said she can keep the ring after she dumped him. If you guys don't remember, Casey was the one that she swore she was Miss International, Miss Multicultural, Miss United Colors of Benetton. Her whole family is colorful. And then Patrick was like, so afraid to admit that he was Asian, and then he finally did, and then she said it's okay, but as soon as she saw him, she said, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. This whole season was basically a whole bunch of girls talking about, I'm not doing it. This season was a whole bunch of niggas. The girls were all straight niggas, right? So now, it was back and forth about the ring, back and forth, just a whole bunch of bullshit. Then the most randomest thing happens. I was doing stuff in the background. I'm listening to Netflix in the background. Then I hear they talking about CP3. I'm like, CP3? Am I on ESPN? What the fuck? I look up and it's Chris Paul. I'm like, what the fuck is Chris Paul doing on Love is Blind reunion? Then they had him freaking do like a shoot off, like what, knockout basketball game. He was the referee between Patrick and Casey. This was the corniest shit. Who came up with this shit, Netflix? Who came up with this? This was the corniest thing Netflix could have ever done. If this season was not the worst season ever, this topped it off. It was so corny. So finally, who won it? I think Casey won the knockout. First, Patrick was basically trying to have Casey apologize. You need to apologize for what you did. Apologize. She's like, you can't make me apologize. Finally, they come to some kind of resolution, and then she gave him the ring back, and then I guess she beat him in knockout. Then he's like, okay, you can have he gave it. It was basically the ring going back and forth and back and forth. I'm confused because I thought Netflix, that's what Allie brought up, and she had a point. Doesn't Netflix supply the ring? So it doesn't belong to Patrick or Casey. I was so confused, but basically this was a filler. It was bullshit. It was just the ring back and forth, the ring back and forth. That's all it was. Anyways, next case. Okay, so in the next segment, Madison basically confronts Casey for being a homewrecking whore. So Madison blames Casey for Joe dumping her because apparently she was making googly eyes and had both of her hands on Joe's
Which I love
chest
you,
at the
but I'm excited
meetup.
about this. I look over, Casey has 2 paws on Joe's chest. In your words that night, you said, Casey was giving me googly eyes. And then the next night, we break up.
And I guess Joe became conflicted. He wasn't really feeling Madison like that. You know, they brought all of that up because if you can remember, when Joe saw Madison, like they have a strong sexual attraction. He said basically all they did was fight and fuck. Story of my life. But anyways, I I remember him saying that Madison's not his type. Not that he thought she was fat, but her body wise, that's not typically what he dates. He dates stick thin women, probably like Casey. So apparently, Madison was upset too when she found out that they did date. This show is so messy. Casey and Jojo, I'll call them Casey and Jojo. Casey and Jojo dated after everybody, went home and the show wrapped up. And I feel like when everyone sees everyone and they meet up and chemistries are being, everyone's filling each other out, everyone starts dating everyone from the cast. That's what it seems like because I think didn't Sparkle Bling Bling Megan meet up with someone else as well? Like there's just a lot going on with these castmates after the show. So they had a fling and Madison was basically confronting Casey about that. Casey denied it. Joe was like, oh well, it is what it is.
Fuck. I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
Seems like we're all done.
Sure. You have your perspective.
He don't give a fuck. He was the Casanova of this season, Joe. Joe came out looking like one of the freaking village people with his stash and his boots. I don't know what that dude, what's up with him, but he basically, and he is a good looking dude, but he gives me, ultimate. He's a fuck boy. Joe is a fuck boy, and these ladies fell for it. Like that's why Madison was being dicked down, and she is digmatized by Joe. And I think Casey is digmatized by Joe. And Joe's new girlfriend, who I guess they all know, Katie from the cast knows her too. It's just messy, that whole situation. But she confronted Casey about it. Casey just looks so bad this season. She looks heartless. She looks very she just she looks prejudiced. She looks heartless. She looks like a gold digger. They just painted her in a bad light this season, or she painted herself. She doesn't look good. She looks very shallow. So that was that, and just Madison needs to move on. And Madison, if you can remember, is the one that we don't know if she's going to go blind in 6 months or 60 years. We don't know. But girl, move on. It's over. Did they ask if she's dating? I'm not sure if. Oh my God, this phone. Why won't this be quiet? Okay. I'm not sure if they asked if she was dating or not, but we know Joe has a new girlfriend. We know nothing about Madison. Okay, so next up we have, who do we have? Damn, I'm drawing a blank. It was Nick and what's her name? Nick and the blonde girl who owns a salon, her hair always looks fried, dyed laid to the side, and she always looks lit and drunk. Whatever her name, Ashley. Nick, is it Ashley? Yeah. So if you remember, Nick was the one who his mother thought he was gay when he was a teenager. So to stop and quell those rumors, he went and got a girlfriend or something. I don't know. And a lot of people kept calling him gay, which I don't think he is. He's just very he's not like manly macho, okay? And a lot of times people think that if a man is not masculine or macho that he's gay. I don't believe in that. I don't think so. He's just very, just very I don't want to say fluid. He's like a metrosexual, I guess. You remember that term from the 90s, metrosexual? Yeah, so that's what he's giving. So remember, what was their issue? She kept saying, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" And he got so annoyed with her that they eventually broke up. They didn't even make it down the aisle. He broke up with her. It was just a lot of insecurities on her part. She's such a lush. And before that, before they got together, there was a competition between him and Brendan. Brendan was like popular in the men's quarters, in the men's like he was a man's man. They all liked him. They all liked Brendan, and then they did not like Nick, which I felt bad for Nick. But anywho, they cleared the air on that. Joe said he was an asshole for saying things about, Nick, and they cleared that up. So basically, they also confronted Nick about the girls. Who was it? Katie? Katie confronted Nick about ghosting her. And, she said he's very performative and everything. And, he's basically gaslighting and love bombing. Uh, Ashley, is that her name? Says, I don't think so. Well, of course you're not going to think so because he chose you. You were chosen by him. Anyhow, he apologizes to Katie and says, I did not mean that. I did not mean to love bomb you. I wasn't, getting my game from a script or a book. I didn't, I'm sorry for doing that to you. Blase, blase, blah. They put that to bed. And then they discussed the relationship with Ashley and Nick and what a freaking shit show that was. And then, no hard feelings. They cleared the air on their relationship and, that's fine. Okay, case closed. Everybody, we're all set. Then it came out that Katie dated Brandon. I swear, everybody just dates each other when they get back to their hometown. So she revealed that she dated Brendan. Brendan was cute though. I remember. Why is he not at this reunion? This reunion is garbage because basically some people who I feel should have been there were not there. Number one. Number two, the things they should have addressed and talked about, they did not talk about in this godforsaken reunion. Anyhow, so they asked, okay, so she said, I went on one date with Brendan. Then the hosts, Nick and Vanessa Manillo, asked, what happened of that? Well, in comes the home wrecking whore, Casey. Yeah, is it Kate? Yeah, Casey. Again, gets thrown under the bus and she gets around. She was all over Brendan. And she's like, can y'all please stop? Like, can y'all please stop clocking my pussy?
That night, he was just all over Casey. So
That is so
Brendan
not
was all
even
over Casey.
true.
they were all over each other. So after that night,
That is not true. That is not true. And they're like, yep, Katie was like, yeah, girl, yeah, it is. You was all over him too. So she was still out here stealing everybody, man. Everybody, man, she was stealing. And she gets pissed and, she tries to throw Patrick at Patrick. She said, Patrick was there too. Patrick's like, bitch, I don't know what you be doing. You're a whore. You're a whore. I don't know what you be doing. And that's that on that. Okay, then we have Ali and Anton. Listen, Anton was not the right fit at all in any respect for Ali. Ali, first of all, she's a Latina woman, right? We were raised to, yes, we can be independent, and she is independent. She has an education. I believe she's a nurse. However, we were raised that a man worth his salt has to provide. He has to provide. You need a man who is a manly man who can fix things, who can do things for you as a woman. Like that's what it is in Latin America. Ali comes from that. She's Brazilian. That's how she was raised. So a lot of Eastern European people like Anton. Anton is Russian, espouses those same values as well. So that's why they connected in the pods. She thought, okay, here's this Russian guy who believes in the same standards and values that I believe in. Okay, cool, cool. When they get together, right? Anton, I mean, he's like a truck driver. He deals in logistics. When you say logistics, it sounds like a status, job, a well-paying job, a job with status. We find out he is actually a truck driver. So I think that dampened things a little for Ali. Then he's drinking a lot, right? Again, Ali, it sounds like she was raised very conservatively and Latin American. I come from Latin America, right? We are Haitian, and yes, we are considered Latinos. That culture is very heavily Catholic, heavily, very just devout Catholic, they're religious. So we do not believe in men, people should be drinking, alcoholics, attending strip clubs. Like that's a no-no. When my ex-husband, I found out he visited a strip club when we were in college, I was mortified. Me, myself, I have never been to a strip club. And the thought of my boyfriend at the time attending a strip club, I was horrified and mortified. Even now, when I find a mate, like I've spoken to men who they attend regularly, I can't get down with them. To me, I don't know. It's just not a thing. And Allie was horrified when she found out through someone that Anton, has attended strip clubs and the drinking got to her along with his occupation. Like he was not a match for her. Allie sounds like she needs someone like Sparkle Megan's baby daddy. That's more up Allie's alley. But anywho, and she also got the ick from him too because of his toes. His toes were out, and she said she got the ick. I think By the time she started spending time with him in person, everything gave him the ick. It gave her the ick about him. He became ugly to her. She does give me gold digger vibes too. Not gold digger in the sense that, you have to do everything for her, but it's just she subscribes to the whole the man is a provider. She subscribes to that train of thought. It's not her fault. Anton was not for her. So they go over that. Anton was upset because the person who told Ali about the whole strip club thing was someone that he doesn't even know like that. So he addressed that. They just have different standards. That's all. They don't match. And that's okay. So at the end of this segment, they asked Anton, is he in a relationship? He is for a year to someone named Miranda. She was in the audience. And then what's her name? Ali was like, I want to keep my shit private. Girl, bye. Nobody cares, Ali. Nobody cares.
No?
I appreciate any interest in like my personal life at the moment, but I do want to keep it personal.
Okay, so the last segment was I titled the last segment the Village Idiot segment, and I was so angry. I was so fucking mad at how the one black couple, how black love this season 9 of Love is Blind was portrayed. They look like a freaking I don't even want to say it, but they look like the dirt couple. I couldn't stand it. So Calabria and Edmund, they were last. And the whole segment was basically Calabria explaining how inept Edmund was. And we saw that he's inept. Edmund is he must be some kind of mentally delayed. He's not all there. He's unfit for a relationship. He's unfit to take lead as a man, as a masculine role in a relationship. He is unfit for marriage. And he should have never ever been allowed.
Black woman. Like I always looked angry on camera, and I even came to you off camera again and said, "Hey, please stop making me look this way. That is a stereotype. I would like
to go into the pods." So I'm not saying as a human being, he graduated college. He appears to be a successful realtor, right? But in a relationship, he becomes infantile. He's very childish, very juvenile.
And I'm not even trying to be manipulative. If that makes any sense. Like I don't want her to think I'm trying to be like that. I think
And all they did was it was basically a back and forth of Calabria talking about how he acted on and off camera, and it was Edmund basically retorting with I don't remember. I don't remember. No, KB, no.
it was
we were,
this where
it was in Denver, getting ready to move in with our bags to our apartments.
yeah.
And this was before you climbed into the cab.
I don't know if this is an act, but if it's not an act, it's pretty sad. This man, like, I can't see a woman taking him seriously. I just can't. And Calabria, people were wondering, were you serious about him or was this all for play? But to her defense, she said, he sounded in the pods. It's very deceiving. You're on a blind date. It's a blind relationship. So yes, they have a lot of chemistry. Like they're like friends. They were friendly. The banter was easy. It's just like when you're on a dating app. The banter is very nice and easygoing and it flows until you meet the person in person. So it's the same thing in the pod. So I give Calabria that. And then when they met in person, it was evident, he is not what she's looking for at all. He's just very inept. He's not emotionally intelligent. He cannot articulate himself. A lot of what Calabria was saying, he said he did not remember. It was just a train wreck. And again, for this to be the lone black couple, I mean, Netflix, not Net. Well, I can't. It's Kinetic, I guess, made a mockery out of Black Love, just showing, just casting him in an infantile light. And Calabria was depicted as the angry Black woman, and she told Edmund this. She told him, "Can you please stop acting like that on camera? Because then when I get upset, I look like the stereotypical angry Black woman." And that's what Kinetic wanted. That's what they wanted. And that shit pissed me off. Netflix, go away from me with this.
Go away from me with this. Go away from me.
This season 9 was garbage. Garbage, garbage. I have no words. I don't even know if I'm going to even watch or cover season 10. They better knock it off. No relationships made it to the end. None at all. You have Casey running around being a home wrecking whore.
You are a whore.
It came out too. Something with Edmund. Something was going on with Casey and Edmund. What the hell, Casey? Anyhow, listen, a sham of a season, a waste of people's time. We'll see what holds for season 10.